Alright guys, what's up? How's everybody doing? Haven't made a video in a while. Been meaning to get back into it, whether it was me by myself or with someone. But honestly, there's been a lot of things going on with my life that this just wasn't a number one priority. But I want to get back into it. It was a goal I had set for myself at the beginning of the year. And I think around April, I kind of stopped. So yeah, my goal with this video is to get back into things. Something I want to talk about specifically is having goals, right? For 2024, for every year, every 5 years. But primarily for this year, right? We're in 2024, we're in August, and we are a little over halfway through the year. I think it's a good time to just reflect and be able to see where are we and how do we want to end this year. Maybe you've been slacking, maybe you haven't, maybe you've been on it. Maybe there's some things you just have to adjust to make sure that you're on the right path, or to make sure that you don't fall off, right? So I want to share my goals with you in the hopes that maybe for some of you, this is a way of resetting or just kind of seeing where you're at and opening up that self-insight to where you want to work on your own goals. But yeah, because I feel like that's the goal at the end of the day, right? Like, we all have a vision, we all have a dream, we all have something we want to accomplish, and it's important for us to have these conversations with ourselves and reflect on what we're doing to get there. So for me, in 2024, at the beginning of the year, I wrote down 6 goals, but really I try and keep it at 5. I feel like after 5, it becomes a lot because there's a lot of actions that go into each goal. And what you don't want to happen is you don't want to spread yourself too thin, right? So you have too many goals, you end up just half-assing all of them instead of really attacking the main ones. So let me tell you guys. So my number one goal first was to continue to build my relationship with God, seeking God in the forms of a Bible, going to church, and just overall building my relationship, learning more about Him. I am a Christian, but honestly, I had never really been much about church. But I wanted to fix that because I did want to get married. And I felt like if I'm going to get married, which is something that I want God to be involved with, I felt like then I should improve myself as a Christian and follow everything God teaches. But we'll get more into that. But that was my number one goal. 2, grow my business. Increase its revenue and the impact that we're having with just being able to help more people. Buy or rent a home. Number 4, commit to tracking my fitness journey and business journey through just social medias, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, just giving advice and tips, what I'm doing, what's working for me, whether it's motivation, fitness, just kind of give some insight on things I do when it comes to fitness, motivation, things that help me keep going, and yeah, some business stuff too, I guess, being that I'm a entrepreneur or self-employed. Then number 5, pay off debt. So those 5 goals, for the most part, I'll tell you guys right now, I would say my relationship with God has gotten really, really better. I've been doing a lot to really focus on working on my faith and trust in God, and just to tell you guys a story, but also give you guys. Let me just tell y'all. So last year around this time, me and my wife were not together. We went into got separated, but then I started going to church separately with a friend. She was going to church by herself. Long story short, I think we both decided that like we needed to work on our relationship with God, or just seek Him. So sure, probably was tough times. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of other things in life that you're gonna face that you cannot deal with yourself. And I would even say that others can't really help you with. The only thing that I felt like was helping me through those tough times was understanding God's word better, and just continuously seeking Him and what He was saying, and through hearing it from others, right, like church, from the pastor, podcasts, and honestly, a lot of it just even brought me more questions, which made me want to seek it more, and I just found it interesting, and then a lot of stuff really just started to click and make sense. And yeah, I started off very, I wouldn't say fully confused, but I just had a lot of questions about a lot of things. And the more I dug myself into it, and I chose to go to church, and that I chose to eventually go to church with Sierra, and we went to like a relationship, couples, wedding class, or pre-marriage class, because then I started thinking more about, well, what's the point of me being with someone if we're not seeking marriage also? So it brought me to just get closer. And the brief of this, that last year I wasn't doing any of these things, right? And then I slowly started to implement these things, and my life got better. I was less anxious when it came to a lot of business things, because when you're trying to grow a business, if you're somebody who has a business, you're going to understand that you face a lot of struggles, a lot of just situations where you can be in very high ups, but then you can be in very lows, and there's really only one thing keeping you going, which is faith. And I didn't really think of it much that way, right? I just chose to keep pushing myself, but a lot of it does come through faith and trusting the process, right? Trusting that God's going to provide. So I noticed a lot of my stuff in my business got better, but then also my relationship with Sierra got better. Again, I'm not perfect. She's not perfect. Still a lot of things to work on. And we eventually got back together, started renting a home, and then we got married, which it was all because I put my relationship with God first. And again, I didn't put this in this order just cause. Well, I kind of did, because you constantly hear, right, it's God first over everything. So I wanted to make that a priority just because it's something I've heard about, right? I'm sure some of y'all's parents tell you, my mom would tell me, it's God first over everything. And it's true, because the things that you start to learn here in this book and going to church, you come to find out that a lot of this stuff makes sense. And it's only meant to make you a better individual, which in return is going to make you a better businessman, a better husband, father, brother, a friend. And it's just, trust me, I'm still learning a lot of this stuff too, but it's very nice to see, and I'm very happy to see that because I chose to do this, I chose to put God first and make that one of my goals for 2024 that my business has grown. We're not gonna say I'm a millionaire, you know, but people can see and I can see, my friends can see, my people I work with, we can all see that the business is growing, even if it's little by little. We're making a better impact, we're planning, we're making other adjustments when we need to, we try things, but we're growing. I haven't bought a home, but I am renting. My relationship with God, I'm now going to church consistently. We invite friends. I go to Bible study in couples, and then just as men. Sierra goes with just women. So it's something we're just continuously trying to keep number one in our life, because we just seen that it's helping us out with these other things. So again, because I put my relationship with God first, my business has been growing. I'm renting a home. I haven't bought one yet, but that's a goal of mine, or a goal of me and Sierra. Number 4, tracking my fitness journey, business journey through social medias. That's the one I'm still working on, right? And it's a constant one that the way I was doing it is to mainly track my goals through the shorter forms of videos, right? So like social medias was a lot easier to do. But I also want to get into these deeper conversations with me sharing honestly what's going on through me and what it is I'm trying to do to get better, because a lot of videos will honestly probably just explain to you guys what you need to do. I don't want to just explain to you guys what to do. I want to explain to you guys what I'm going through and how I'm going about it, so that I can relate to you and show you that maybe there's some stuff I'm going through that you're going through, and doing this can help you. So I think we all want to grow, right? And as much as we plan, especially when it comes to social medias, all you can really do is have the right intentions and share what's in your heart, where you feel it's right. And honestly, just put good things out there that are going to help people. Sometimes it can be some motivation. Sometimes it can be fitness things, which is my things. Sometimes it's spiritual things. So those are just stuff I'm really trying to work on to help me grow. And yeah, I need to just continue and stay consistent with it, honestly, right? So again, I'm recording this video and I hope that this helps me stay more consistent with this. But yeah, number 5, pay off my debt. So been working at that. We have paid off some debt, if I'm being honest with y'all. And the reason I want to focus on that, so I can put me, the business, my family in a better position to eventually do things like buy a home, get a bigger gym location, so that we're not too stressed about like, oh, where's this gonna come from, or how are we gonna be able to pay things, because we're in so much debt. You own a business, or you want to own a business eventually, or what the goal is to be profitable, right? So you want to make money, but you don't just want to spend it all either. You need to be keeping some of it. You need to pay yourself, but then at the same time, you have to, just be able to keep money. It can't just be like, oh, yeah, I don't know, I made 10 grand, but then all the 10 grand got spent. So something to think about if you have a business. But those were my big 5. And here's where things can make you fall short. You have to be careful with not getting sidetracked by things that you like, that you enjoy. And here's what I mean by it. I started doing jiu-jitsu, right? I started getting into martial arts as a form of fitness, to do something different than just lifting weights and just general strength training. But you need to be careful when you take up hobbies or things like this. Again, this is just something that I'm thinking about, because we don't want to spread ourselves too thin, that you get too caught up on some things that you forget what your goals are. So, for example, these were my 4 goals that I just explained, right? Or my 5 goals. My relationship with God, grow my business, renting a home, then commit to tracking my fitness content, right? Improve on it. If I started to do jiu-jitsu and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna train 5 times a week, 6 times a week, and I want to compete, I can eventually go from focusing so much on that these other 5 goals of mine start to get slacked. At some point at the beginning of the year, I had made it a goal that I also wanted to compete in a half Ironman in a bodybuilding show. But then something happens, right? As I kind of started training, and it was that this stuff can get pricey. This stuff can get, there's a big commitment behind it, which is good, right? We need commitment. But if you have too much commitment to too many things, you start to half-ass things. So you need to be careful with making sure you're not putting also too much on your plate, that then you can't do it all. It's not good for you, and it ends up being something that you might think is productive, but it ends up putting you down at the same time, because you weren't able to accomplish anything because you chose to do too much. So a lot, it's not always the best. Sometimes a little goes a much longer way, right? So this made me reset for myself, because I'm really enjoying jiu-jitsu and martial arts, but I started looking at it as a way for me just to get active in a different way, right? And enjoying it and loving it. But the moment I started getting too stern with what I needed to do, right, that I have to show up over there 5 times a week, I started to slack on some of these other things. And then eventually, little by little, I think it was last month, I kind of started reminding myself, like, I need to be careful. I need to go back and relook at these goals and how am I accomplishing these. And as jiu-jitsu, or whatever that thing is in your life, or if it was something else in my life, how is it helping me reach these goals? Maybe you don't have to cut that thing off fully, right? But maybe you have to take a step back. So for me, like, I'm still training jiu-jitsu, right? But I minimize it to 3-4 times a week. It's just another form of me staying physically active and also learning and just getting out of the gym. So I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna keep doing it, but I'm also not gonna let it consume me, because there's other things I need to prioritize. But yeah, guys, this is something that's kind of been heavy that I've been needing to talk about. Maybe it might even mean that you need to isolate yourself, right? So something in the bit that kind of happened with me as I started kind of dealing with all this stuff and attacking all my goals. Sometimes being in my own gym would feel like not a lot, but just I needed my own time. So I would catch myself sometimes just, I'm gonna do a workout from home, or that's why I would go to jiu-jitsu, where I just needed to get my mind off everything else and just isolate myself, do what it is I enjoy, and also honestly just meditate and pray through my training, clear my thoughts, or be in my thoughts and like what it is that I'm doing. But sometimes you need that. You need some isolation. You need to go back and talk like that to yourself and see what it is that you need to work on to get you back on track. Or maybe something that you did yesterday that you could have done better at. Seeking continuous growth comes with a lot of self-reflection. Because none of us are going to be perfect, right? But you can try and try, and you're going to accomplish some things, but eventually you have to go back and fix the things that you weren't so good at. And if anything, honestly, that's kind of what, again, I'm going to kind of keep referring to the Bible, but the Bible teaches us that, you're not going to be perfect, but if you continuously seek the Word and listen to the Word, it's like you're almost kind of keeping your body and yourself on check and filled with the good news. So even like when it comes to these other things in life, you pretty much got to do the same thing. You have to continuously check yourself and reflect on them and see where you're messing up at, and just be able to address yourself like that. It can be hard. Conversations like that can for sure be difficult sometimes, but nobody's here to help you. You have to want it for yourself. If there is only somebody that is here to help you, it's God. You can have conversations with friends and family, but a lot of it ends up being back on you. But God is one person that you can trust. Highly encourage you guys set a spiritual goal. Again, so when I break down these goals, y'all guys didn't notice, but there's also a spiritual goal, a financial goal, and then a physical goal. So I had 2 financials in this case. I put buying and renting a home as my second one. But the spiritual was building my relationship with God. Financial was growing my business, renting the home. And then my physical one was just keeping track of my fitness journey and the business journey through the social medias. But yeah, this is a good way to, I think, just for me to explain to you guys stuff that's been going on in my life. And this self-reflection is something that you have to do to get back on track. Yeah. Hope you guys like this video. If anything, I think the biggest thing you guys can take away from this is that if you put God first over everything, some of these other things can start to happen and work on. And it does take time. And it's not on your time. It's on God's time. I just actually read a devotion on that. We might want things to happen right away, but they don't. They happen next year or in a few years. Or maybe you want things to happen next year, but it's not on your time. And maybe God's like, no, it's going to happen now. So some stuff to think about, some stuff that you might, I don't know, might make you think and have questions. So go pick up a Bible and go to church. But other than that, I'm going to be hopping on here once a week, talking about some more things, fitness related or motivation related, maybe even God related. But I'm still trying to grow myself even in this field. Might not be perfect, but I want to talk about this too as much as I can. So hope you guys like this video. See you again soon. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. See y'all later.